Hey guys, those who rule know you rule. This is season 7 recap. Uh, and of course, I did play on easy. I did try one season on hard. I made it through about 7 episodes, and then I kept dying. When I played on normal, the two-handers to me were not as powerful as they are on easy. I don't know if they were dodging more or they had more hit points, or I don't know what it was really. But for me, easy is was enjoyable because I really do feel powerful when you get like a two-hander and you got a max upgrade or you got a skill ring. I mean, I feel powerful on Finn. Finn is by far the best character. I'm so glad I gave him another chance. Um, One thing I was very proud of this playthrough is I kept now Skylar and Alania were still a little bit behind the rest, but they kept up. They were only a level or two behind. Um, and yeah, a couple places I kind of cheese a little bit, maybe standing on spawns where the mobs spawn at to prevent them from spawning. That was a way I could have got a little bit of extra experience. I kind of blundered where Elias was like level 13 or something, and I stopped using him for about two missions or so, and I was using Quincy, and I want to say Quincy starts out at 17, so I got 2 levels on Quincy, and that could have been a little bit of wasted XP there. Nothing wrong with Quincy. I just wanted a polearm user, and I decided to go with the bleed. And Quincy was is already uh, doesn't have the bleed option, so that's why I went with Elias. Um, I gained a couple levels on Talon. That one mission. Cedric was actually leveling pretty good, but as soon as I got access to Talon, I think I did Cedric, and Ajax. I really love Ajax. I played a couple missions with him, but as the other characters you get are Shiva and Salvador later, and Douglas. And it was very hard for me to part with Shiva because Shiva's so good. Uh, Shiva could also be another two-handed user, but I just had her with a bow and a dagger and a shield. Um, and I think the developer, this game was made by one guy, but he's been working over 4 years or so, and as there's more copies and stuff being sold, of course he's getting income. And I could have swore the other day when I played, this aura said 40%. 20%, it's not really worth it, in my opinion, because the only way you can get it to really work, because I had Wesley in Melee one time, and he dies very quickly, and so it's probably best to keep him as an archer, like behind the main tank or something. You could make it work, but I mean, it's very situational. I mean, Phoebe's so far behind everybody else. I still haven't figured out how to use this damn idol. I mean, it says refresh all ability charges, but I still don't know how it works. Can't figure it out. My guess is if like this thing had 0 charges, you could hit this and then maybe next turn this has a charge. I just never paid attention or never noticed it. I do think it's nice that you get a level 28 guy near the end, because let's say that you're playing on Iron Man or something and you had somebody die the mission before, and your next level guy is like level 20 or 21 or something, so it's nice that they have an option to sub in. For me, I just used it for income, selling his gear. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 guys on the bench. And actually the last mission, Phobia was on the bench too, so 13. And actually I could have sold Phobe's gear for a little extra money, I guess. But this was the first time I'd ever got spin. I just chose not to use him. I did do one playthrough. I had Kayla as like my highest level. I gave her that. If you decide not to level Finn and just want to steal his axe, Khalith is a viable option. But yeah, at least I played with Quincy a couple maps. This is the pirate you can get. Ajax is super good. I don't really know what really makes him super good, but he just racks up the kills. And I want to say I got him at the same time as Talon. I want to say Talon was probably 16, but even in that mission I used him, he probably gained 2 levels. Then the next mission he probably gained another 2 levels. Shiva's really good. Jorah I kind of found a little underwhelming. Maybe like as a spear and shield guy, or a polearm guy. I just love my two-handers. Edward was leveling a little slow, mainly because I got this as a XP penalty. But he had the agility ring, 36 agility. I don't really know anybody. Alania had 31 agility. Finn had 30. Melanie had 33. Cassidy had 30. Douglas had a super high defense, 37. Of course, I gave him the defensive ring. Salvador almost had 30 agility. But I was just so pleased with Corvin. I mean, the thing about the poison is it says it starts when your round begins. I didn't really find that was true. It was like I moved Corbin within 2 tiles of an enemy, nothing would happen, and then after a full round, after the enemy goes, then he applies the poison. I stuck this thing up there so if he attacks the target that he poisons, he does double weapon damage. And he had this thing up there that uses endurance instead of strength. So 27 strength is really high. I mean, it's not high as some of these people, but I mean, that's more strength than Skylar, who's like the main character. But you probably could get away from using Phoebe, but when you need a real heal, when you need a full heal, when you need a group heal, you want Phoebe. I mean, she levels up super, super slow. I mean, literally almost 20 levels behind other people. I mean, Finn and Melody almost hit 40 again. Elias, very respectable. I love this combination on him. Keeps him healthy, keeps him alive. I keep him next to the Paladin so that when the Paladin gets a kill, it heals the nearest ally. All these Blade Masters, they either try to keep advantage on them or some kind of heal. With Benjen, he was I usually make him a berserker, but this time I decided not to. I decided to use this Battleborn passive, and this is like a heal right here, so he does take a lot of damage. Douglas is just a beast of a tank. I mean, I cannot say how good he is. And unfortunately, I don't have Marcus in my party anymore to compare Marcus's stats, but Marcus's defense was terrible compared to him. I mean, Russell's a tank too. He had 30 defense. But Douglas just blew him out of the water. Salvador, I don't know what is so good about him, but you give him a two-hander, he just goes to town. I guess his overall stats are just really good. And that's what really makes him good. I mean, he's not a Blade Master. But these passives make him very good too. All these three really good passives on him. But one mistake that I made late on was I sold the endurance ring for like 100 gold, and then I realized like how good Corbin was. Like his hit was really high, his attack is decent. And the Crucible Kite Shield is enough to keep him alive. I had this rat effigy because the way I was thinking was I'll get him in melee combat. He'll apply the poison. If he gets in trouble, I can back out and get him to safety. Whereas if you got an enemy right next to you, you can't move but like one tile or two tiles away from the enemy. But I should have kept that ring on him for a few more, several other missions, and maybe his strength would have, maybe his endurance would even be 5 or 6 levels higher. I don't know. And then his attack might be closer to 50. But yeah, I mean, he can heal, he can give someone else another turn, he can poison, he can hold his own in melee. You give him the endurance ring, you give him the thing that turns his endurance into strength and attack calculations. I got the double poison. Another thing I could have done to make him better is I could have sold that steel sword and put a crucible sword on him and upgrade the crucible sword. But I ran out of gold because I decided to upgrade the dagger for Shiva, and I decided to upgrade the bow for Shiva, and I didn't even use Shiva really outside of those 2 missions. So that could have been gold. I could have been upgrading Corbin on. And I don't know, maybe even take away the Crucible shield and give him a little round shield. But yeah, unfortunately, I did Shiva. Unfortunately, I did Ajax. I played with Quincy a couple levels. I played with Wesley. That one mission I had to rescue him, but I didn't. The last time I at least got him to 21 or 22, something like that. I played with him one other mission. Talon got a couple levels. The mission that I got him and the next mission. I didn't really invest in any of these people. Cedric I used until I got Talon. Talon I used until I got Corwin. But by far, the best character in the game has to be Finn. I mean, you give him a skill ring, you give him a strength ring. I don't know, maybe if you focus your main character, Skylar or Elania, and give them. Elania, of course, would benefit from the agility ring probably more. But I did have the vitality ring on him, and he did gain about 10 more health than Elania did. Melanie. She's just really good. I mean, you have to have this on her. And I don't know which bow's better. I just use the long bow. There is another bow you can hit 2 tiles back to back. And then there is a third bow that's unique that gives you a little more mobility. My plan kind of was I was going to give one to Ajax, and I did for a little bit, and I was going to give one to Shiva, but then I decided not to use Shiva. Edward, he's like a prodigy. So Edward's stats are really good. And that's the reason why I chose him for the agility ring in this, because I mean he levels a little bit behind, but when he levels up, his level ups are good. I mean he basically had 100% agility, so every level up he would always get 1 point in agility. I can't believe it took me so long before I started playing with Corvin. I mean, level 32, what a beast. And I guess if you decide not to use Phoebe and you take this off of Phoebe and you give it to Corvin or Talon, when they use that mend ability and you don't heal them to full, you get another turn and you get to use mend again. And another thing is Talon, when he gets to 20, you can turn him in. You can also get the Talon is an acolyte, but he can still um, get this group heal, this group prayer thing. So that's another good thing about Talon is once he gets level 20, if you choose to, he could basically take the place of Phoebe. The only things I like about Phoebe is she has this ability, which basically when she uses men, she heals herself as well. And then also this ability, which is a full heal, plus it takes away a debuff. So if someone has poison on them, something like that, it can heal them to full. And Edward is a perfect example. I mean, he has no healing whatsoever, but he has such high avoidance and such good hit chance that he rarely gets hit. I mean, look, he almost has almost 40 agility. But I would say probably the three best. I mean, I love Finn now. I love Melanie. I love Finn just because he's just a prodigy. I mean, he's got the best stats in the game. Give him his skill ring, the strength ring, and he's just a beast. And even though I have nothing in agility for him, I mean, his agility is still 30. He has really high defense, too. I mean, 21 without putting anything in defense is pretty good. But you need Melanie for the gold income. Especially at higher levels, and even me when I got all the chests, finished all the quests, got all the characters, I still do not have everybody maxed out. I mean, Skylar and Alania, I never maxed them. The tanks, I didn't finish maxing. I did give him some attack, but not hit chance. And Corwin, I didn't finish. But let's look at our Blade Masters. I just want to show off. We basically had 4 Blade Masters and then Salvador. But these are the two-handed sword users. So we had Edward, we had Salvador, who was rocking a claymore, and I really don't know what the best setup is as far as the things you add to the stuff. I mean, this one I had precise. If you had a 100% hit chance, gain a second attack, and Swordbane, which gives 10 hit and avoid. Rayson was my fourth. I had Crush on him, which doesn't really help unless you're fighting against heavy shielded guys. And he also gains 6 attack, which is really powerful. Elias was one of my 2. I gave him the damage against bleeding units. This is one of the special weapons in the game for the polearm. And then my other polearm user was Skylar here. Elania, one thing we did this time was we made sure I think we started off with one-handed sword, and then we went to spear, and it says if you have gain 1 damage and 5 hit for each weapon type in mastery A or higher. So she had a really high hit. Her attack was kind of low. I don't know if it was more the weapon or what, but we started her with one-handed sword. Then she went to spear. She could have even got polearm and then gone back to, but I figured we had 3 extra attack and 15 extra chance to hit, so I thought that was pretty good. And we tried out this Draco Idol on her. Maybe I've got that before, I just don't remember it. But yeah, I really highly recommend these two. I mean, Finn, it's kind of a pain to level for those first couple levels, but once he gets caught up with your group, he's a beast. Melanie can basically get 2 kills per turn, 3 if you maybe use Ajax or Corwin or someone to reset their turn. Oh, Finn was also one of the axe users, which does really good against those big, heavy shields. And then Benjen is another guy who, it says Warhammer, but it's really it falls under the axe category. And this ability right here, Crushing Blow, is so nice. And then when you get an overkill by 10, it refreshes his turn. Douglas and Elias together make a great team. You've seen the 2-handed sword users, they can just go out on their own and just wreak havoc. Shiva is also a blade master, so she could also use a 2-handed sword. I just decided not to go with her because I already had so many other 2-handed users. Ajax, like I said, is very capable if you want a second archer. I mean, early on in my early playthroughs, I used Abigail, and I didn't even know Melanie existed. But And then if you want another archer, a fourth archer, it could be Wesley with XP aura. I mean, maybe if you get Wesley a little earlier, maybe if he shows up a little earlier in the campaign, more people would probably use him, in conjunction with Finn, trying to level him up. But you get Wesley several missions after Finn, so like I said, if you don't like Elias, if you don't like the bleed, the other polearm users, options would be like Jorah or Quincy. I mean, obviously, you could pretty much turn anybody into whatever you want. It just takes a little while to. Takes quite a while, actually. I mean, most of the game, Skylar had a little iron polearm, and then finally, he finally got to B. And even using a polearm basically most of the game. I mean, I think we did use a spear early on, maybe, but he's still not even S rank. So I mean, there's always different combinations of, people to use different items and stuff, and I'm sure I've switched it up. I just like the loaded dice on this guy because when you're up against a heavy shield, you don't want him to miss. You want him to hit. And even with Douglas, with like no, it was very late before I upgraded his damage on his mace, but he seems to hit really hard. I guess because his strength is so high. So even with a low damage item, he still does really good because his strength is so good. But yeah, I was a little worried that Corwin would just get killed in melee, but he definitely could take a couple hits. I mean, he came close to dying a couple times, I think, but probably the most exciting thing that happened was one of those missions near the end when I threw Marcus in the middle of a bunch of crap, and he basically died. But because he was a berserker, he came back to life. And then Ileana basically got killed, but because she had that item on her, because she had this thing on her, she came back with 1 hit point. But usually I'll take a little more risk early into a fight, like turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then as we start progressing, like turn 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I'm a lot more cautious with them because who wants to play a 50-minute mission and then have to restart? But basically we were running with 1 archer, We were running with 2 tanks, Marcus and the Paladin. We were running with 2 polearm users, Elias and Scholar. We were running with 4 Blade Masters and Salvador. And Ileana counts as a Blade Master. So basically 5 people with 2-handed swords. 2 with pole arms. 2 healers. Both healers with 1-handed swords. And 2 axe users. Of course, one had a hammer, but it counts as an axe, and then one with a long axe. And like I said, those axes are excellent against shields. And also, like Marcus, who also was a berserker, and I can't show him because he left, but this ability right here, which Finn has and Benjen has, and they also have this for this overkill. But Marcus and Douglas was actually good against shields as well, just because the mace has some armor penetration in it, and same with the axe. So. But Marcus also had this ability right here. So even with a one-handed axe, you could still use this ability to destroy a shield. So that's the main reason to have the axe users in your. The axe users is to destroy shields and to do damage against heavily armored people. Some of my Blade Masters really struggled against some of the high dodge enemies, especially if they were like in a bush or something. They just kept missing. So against them, I would say Archer probably is the best thing to do against them. And actually, some of the archers, I don't think I have it with her, but one of the options is you can do damage you basically bypass their shield. So you could design an archer that way that bypasses shields if you don't really like the axe users very much. But yeah, all in all, I say this is a well-rounded group. I mean, I've tried to use different guys, different playthroughs. I've tried to mix it up a little bit, but a lot of the people I just keep coming back to because, like, I don't know, last playthrough I think I tried to use Jorah and he really just did nothing. Like, I tried to use him, I think 2 missions, and he would get 0 kills and he would die right away in 1 or 2 hits, and he was just dead. I mean, Ajax is really good. Ajax can get multiple kills. And this status thing I really thought would be hard to get up there, but um, it's really easy. And I didn't have anyone with the fear thing, I don't think, this time. I just couldn't find room to put it on anybody. But having somebody with the fear thing is really good. Uh, maybe Douglas, because really, even though he has a heavy bandage, even though he's taking a lot of damage, I mean, uh, he really didn't need to heal. So I think even for Douglas, you could maybe take this heavy bandage off and sell it or give it to somebody else. And I've said this before, but one thing that's lacking in the shop here would be the heavy bandage. I really did not see very many Crucible round shields in the game. I don't know. I really wasn't paying attention or really looking for them. I mean, there was a couple steel kite shields, a couple Crucible shields. Um, I think this is probably the best upgrade, or one of the better ones that you at least buy from the shop. As long as you have a S rank. But yeah, if you know kind of what your final team's going to be, it's easier to plan. And like I said, I made many mistakes again this time. Like I said, one big one was I sold the endurance ring that I should have left on Corbin here. In fact, I don't even think I had the endurance ring on him at all. Maybe briefly. I upgraded Shiva's bow and her melee weapon, and I only used her for 2 missions. That was kind of a waste. I used Ajax for a couple missions. Could maybe say that was a little waste. I used Quincy for a couple missions. That was maybe a waste. And I used Talon. So, I mean, maybe some of the XP I was getting on them, maybe it could have been spread around a little bit. You know, I do kind of cheese things a little bit, especially when it comes to like Skylar and Alania, where I know where the spawns are coming, and I'll just have them sitting there, and maybe that's how they get behind in XP a little bit. But like I said, when I'm an hour into a mission, if I can cheese one location and it prevents a couple spawns from coming, and I make sure I'm keeping my main hero safe, I'll take being 1 or 2 levels behind. But the one time where I used, I think I had 3 healers in one playthrough. I had Phoebe, then I had Talon, and I had Corwin. What happened was basically Finn and Melody got so many kills. I mean, they were like level 41 or something. Um, but then Skylar was like level 20. So I tried to keep like one mission. I think everybody was 30, and there were a couple people like Douglas or whatever that maybe weren't quite 30 yet. And I tried to like Edward. So I tried to get like Edward, and I tried to get like everybody else the kills to try to catch everybody up, and then I pretty much had everyone at level 30 except for my main heroes like Skylar and Alania were just a couple. I mean, near the end there, yeah, he's 32, she's 31. 38, 37, 36, 34, 34, 34, 34, 34, 32, 31. So I mean, I tried very hard to keep everybody kind of around the same level. I mean, the thing with Finn is every time he gets a kill, he's going to overkill. He's going to get a second turn. Most of the time with Melanie, the same thing. She's going to get at least one kill, refresh her turn. She's probably going to get a second kill. Benjen, the same thing. He's going to get a kill. He's probably going to overkill. He's going to get another turn. So, and the Blade Masters get a bunch of kills because a lot of the enemies will charge at you. So if you put them in a decent position, and sometimes I got overrun, and a couple times some of my guys died. But there is a way that you can position them so that you trigger the enemies like zone of control, that they start charging you, and they'll charge you one at a time, and that's manageable to a blade master that can first guy runs up, kill him, second guy runs up, kill him, third guy runs up, kill him, fourth guy runs up, kill him. So that's how the blade masters catch up. Plus they can also kill two enemies with one hit, which is very useful in many different scenarios. Near the end, there's a lot of heavy shield users, and which the blade masters really can't kill two enemies in one turn if one of them is a big heavy shield user. Sometimes they can, but near the end there, all the enemies are very high level. Sometimes they're even higher level than you are. But yeah, I hope you guys take some of the knowledge that I've learned over the last couple weeks, and maybe use a bit of information or whatever for your playthrough. But yeah, I love Corwin. I kind of wish we could have got him a little earlier in the campaign. But I just regret not putting that endurance thing on him. I regret not buying a Crucible sword. I actually had a Crucible sword. I think I just sold it. I should have just upgraded. Very good character, very fun. It's kind of nice to see him pop a poison on somebody. The only critique I would say is he's being attacked by enemy in melee range, but instead of throwing the poison on the guy who's attacking me, he throws a poison on somebody else that's on the other side. But yeah, 10 poison damage for two turns. That's 20 damage. I don't know what the bleed damage is. That would be nice to know, but you see there's basically no enemies in the game with over 60 health. I mean, even Roderick here has 60, so I mean, nobody basically has over 60 health. So if you're doing 20 points of poison damage, that's a third of their health at least, and a lot of guys is probably half their health. And early on, when you get Corvin that's level 21, that poison is even more powerful. Because the mobs might only have 30 health, and you're doing 20 points of poison damage. So the poison damage is, I mean, the bleed damage is 20% of their HP. But it's for 3 turns though. So, I mean, that's 60% of their health gone just on a bleed. But this thing doubles weapon damage against bleed units. This, whatever this thing is. And then the Corvin had something similar that doubles weapon damage against poison units. So, you know, Corvin's damage was respectable, and if he's doing double the damage against poison guys, that's a very heavy hit. And like I said, on him, I'm using just a steel sword. I mean, I could have gone up to a crucible, and I could have bumped this up, and I could have bumped that up. So the difference between a steel sword is two damage. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it really adds up. But yeah, that was pretty much our roster, guys, for this season. And We used Phoebe all the way to the end. We didn't use her for the last mission. Jorah, who starts out at 28, is very... I don't know. Maybe he's good, but to me he's a little underwhelming. Maybe he's better as an archer or something. But you already have so many other archers in the game that... to me, he would be better used as maybe a polearm guy. Or if you wanted someone just to kind of hold a line with a spear and a shield. But I just felt like they really don't do very much. They hit for very little. They die very easily. They can't really refresh their turn very easily. They can't kill a lot of enemies. They can't deal with shields. Maybe they're best against sword masters or something like that. I just think if you got you're playing on Iron Man mode and you lose your level 30 guy and you need another level 30 guy to replace him. Jordan's 28, so he's close to 30. He'll be a good sub in if you lose somebody. And it's nice that he comes with gear. He comes with, I don't know if he comes with a bow. I can't remember. I think he had like a sword and a polearm. Maybe he had a bow too. Or maybe he just had a spear and a bow and a shield. But yeah, a lot of these other characters that I didn't choose, they're very, they're plausible. I mean, yeah, you could use Wesley for this aura, and I would recommend using him as an archer, but you can put him in melee too. I just, to me, he does a lot less damage than, say, a two-handed sword user would do, so that's why he was on the bench. I think 3 healers is a little overkill. I mean, I could have chose a different option for Phoebe and maybe got the option kind of like what Talon has. I mean, this is very powerful. All units within 2 tiles gain 3 attack. Don't get me wrong, that's very powerful. And Jason Allen's gained 10 hit. And has a heal and can refresh your turn. But Cedric, for example, he just cannot be in melee range at all. He's just so weak. I mean, he's only level 15, but you can even see how terrible his stats are. I mean, Talon's only 3 levels higher and has a much better stat line. I would just be very scared to put Phoebe as a knight just because her stats are just so kind of pitiful. But maybe if she's taking a lot more damage, maybe she will level up a lot faster. And I guess as an option for Marcus, instead of making him an axe tank, you could make him a two-handed axe user. In fact, sorry, the arm of my chair just fell off. In fact, when you go to the opening screen here, it has Marcus, and this is kind of cool when you move your mouse around, how it kind of jumps around a little bit. But Marcus has a two-handed, it actually looks like a two-handed mace or hammer, not really an axe, but has Skylar with a spear and Alania with a two-handed sword. So yeah, you could definitely maybe make Marcus the one of the two-hander axe users. But later in the game, I mean, you want your two-handed axe users to be in danger because you're sending them in to take out these big heavy shields, and there's usually 4 mobs and sometimes even more than that around them. And if all he has is a two-hander that can only kill one enemy, I mean, I guess you could refresh his turn and he could be a beast. You could give him some of the skill rings or strength rings or something like that, and maybe make Marcus a beast. But I've just always used him as a one-handed axe user. But as he's viable to play a two-handed axe role as well. And you can pretty much customize the guys the way you want them. I mean, if you want Ileana to be like a dagger user or with a shield, or kind of like a roguey type, or polearm, or mace, or you could even make some of them archer if you want. But anyway, I just love this game. Maybe I will play again sometime in the future. I just need a break from the game for a while, and I don't know, maybe there'll be a patch or an update, maybe there'll be an expansion coming soon. Maybe there'll be a DLC or something, we'll see. But yeah, I would like to maybe rectify some of the mistakes I made this time. Like I said, maybe leaving the endurance ring on the poison guy longer, maybe upgrading his gear a little bit. It's very tough making the decisions on who to keep, and I mean, you only got 14 slots and 3 are already picked for you, and you have to have these 3, and to me they have to have a healer with them. So really that only gives you 10 people to choose from. And out of those 10, I chose 2 axe ones. Another healer. 4 two-handed sword users. Another tank. An archer. And a polearm user. But I think that's a well diversified group. I think one of the first or second or one of the couple of the early playthroughs, I think I did use 2 archers. I think I might have used Ajax and Melody, not Melody, but Abigail. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the game. I love it. It's a very good game. And I tell you, when you get multiple kills with that two-handed sword, or multiple kills, and there's still a lot that I have not learned. Like there's a lunge that you can do with the sword, and there's like a rapier in the game that you can kind of do a little lunge, and I just sometimes you use those abilities, but not that often, I don't think. And maybe the little Raider leap is kind of cool too, but I think I've only used that maybe one time or so. But anyway, thanks for letting me share, guys. Have a good day and enjoy your week.